What is up, everybody? My name is Mitchell Brewer from Black Hat Sports, and today we are talking about everything Phoenix, the NASCAR Cup, Xfinity, Arkham Nard Series, all competed there this past weekend. We're also going to talk about Mike Joy sounding off on internet trolls during the race, Hendrick Motorsports being investigated by NASCAR, and you know what? Let's just jump into all of it. Here we go. First, the NASCAR Cup Series competed yesterday. We've had about 24 hours to digest that race here, and it was just like Vegas, where it wasn't the world's best race, it wasn't the world's worst race. It was kind of just a race that existed. You look at like the Jeff Gluck racing poll of if it's a good race or if it's a bad race. I lean towards saying this race was good. It kept me plenty entertained throughout the entire thing. Again, it wasn't a barn burner, but there was still plenty to watch throughout the race. The leaders, kind of, again, just like Vegas last week, nobody really could see him to touch him. Plein air proved to be king. William Byron, stage one, drove off, ran away with it. Kyle Larson got the lead in stage two. Once again, drove off, won the stage. But we did see a green flag pass in the final stage when Kevin Harvick went by, past Kyle Larson, and it looked like he was going to be taking off to win in his final season. And then we had a caution, and now we have to spark the debate of whether it should have been a caution, shouldn't have been a caution. And here's my opinion on everything. Last week with Eric Almirola, should have been a caution. Very obvious, should have been a caution. NASCAR didn't make the wrong call. And guess what? NASCAR didn't make the wrong call again this week. I don't know why we got to debate this every single week. I get it. You want to see a long green flag run, end the race. You want to see nothing happen that's going to affect how the race had been going for the first 3/4 of the race. But sometimes that just doesn't happen, and like Harrison Burton was throwing debris yesterday and had wrecked. Like, it's going to be a caution 10 times out of 10. I don't know. I'm not going to waste too much time on that subject just because I think there's nothing really worth arguing there. What can be argued was the pit strategies during this caution. Kevin Harvick, the leader, who had driven away, decides to go, we're going 4 tires. 6 cars in front of him take 2 tires, including William Byron and Kyle Larson. Kevin Harvick comes out 7th. Never saw the lead ever again. I mean, I can't really fault Kevin there. It's one of those things where it's a flip of the coin where it can work for you and it might not work for you. And to be fair, if that last little bit went green, Harvick might have been able to get right back up to the lead. One guy that really impressed on that last run was Tyler Reddick, who I believe came out second of the guys that took 4 tires. He had been in the top 10 all day yesterday. That 45 team needed that run, and he managed to navigate his way through the field right there at the end. I thought he was going to end up winning the dang thing. He ended up coming home, and I believe it was either 3rd or 4th, pushing the guy who we didn't really see coming to win again, despite having won a stage and being up front all day. That was Big Bill, as in Big Bill Hat, William Byron, who had that, what's now becoming synonymous with him, with that big hat that he wears in Victory Lane. I don't know. But it was an interesting little bit because we had the restart after the Harrison Burton crash where Byron and Larson were getting at the front of the field. Larson was able to go away from Byron. It looked like Blaney might have had something. He also took 2 tires. He was 3rd. Looked like he might have been able to try and get underneath Larson, but he couldn't. Larson was able to clear the field. Caution. Boom. Here we go again. Next restart. It was kind of interesting because Larson kind of ran up towards Byron trying to slow him down. And ultimately, I think that might have been what cost him the race. If he ran the same restart that he ran before, he might be able to drive away again. Instead, this time, Byron, who got one heck of a push from Tyler Reddick, is able to get pushed out in the front and sets sails to his 2nd win of the season. He's got 2 wins. He is locked into the playoffs. You can't have 17 drivers with 2 wins. He's got nothing to worry about, and he can continue to stack up playoff points. And, I mean, he's looking dangerous right now. He might not be the points leader, but my goodness, if he keeps running the way he is, he's going to be in no time because he had 2 stage wins last week. plus the win. He had a stage win this week, plus the win. Come September, man, and I know it's way too early to be talking about the playoffs, but come September, man, that's going to be important. And overall, I mean, it's funny because William Byron now has 2 wins, 2 races that if they ran green probably wasn't going to win. But I see a couple things where people are mad about how this shapes the outcome of the race. Accidents happen, cautions happen. That's just part of the race. And I feel like more people, and this is going to maybe be wrong in my opinion, but in my opinion, I think more people are going to enjoy those restarts or the finishes on the last laps where chaos can happen versus if they just run green. And I know that doesn't exactly just say, oh, the most deserving driver, the most dominant driver is going to end up winning, but that's sports. Sometimes you dominate for 9.5 innings of a game and you still lose. Like, just happens. It just happens. I don't know what you want from that. It didn't affect my viewing experience. And yeah, good for William Byron because that team is on a roll right now. And Hendrick Motorsports in general, they're going to be pretty hard to stop. I mean, obviously, one of the big notes before the race weekends was that all 4 cars had their hood levers confiscated before, I believe it was after practice on Friday. It was either before or after practice on Friday. Clearly didn't make a difference. I still think we'll probably end up seeing some sort of penalty. What that magnitude of that penalty is to be seen. But like Jeff Gordon said, I mean, it's got to be kind of a confidence boost for that team. Jeff Gordon said in the press conference yesterday, clearly didn't affect them too much. They're still dominating out there. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens as we get further and further into the season. I think the next couple of weeks where we have Atlanta and Coda coming up, that's going to maybe bring more of that parity that I know a lot of people like seeing from last season in. But Hendrick has shown that they can dominate at the mile and a half Vegas. They show that they could dominate at a shorter track like Phoenix. It's going to be interesting to see if they can continue that performance all season long because, like I said, if William Byron even has another month worth of performances like this, come September, come the entire playoffs, he's going to be sitting in pretty good shape. The thing that people were talking about during the race yesterday was Mike Joy owning internet trolls during the race. Like I said, it wasn't the most exciting race in the world, and when you have long green flag runs, you get weird storylines like this that will pop off. And yeah, it was right before Fox took their last full screen commercial break or something like that, because apparently there was complaints last week about how Fox they said they're going to their last full screen commercial break, and some fans misunderstood that as their last full-on commercial break, because I know after the last full screen commercial break, they do the side-by-sides. People are talking about this. And rightfully so, because Mike Joy flat out said, he called out the internet keyboard warriors. I'm going to explain this very slowly to you. And is it funny? Sure. But why are we doing this? And I know this is an unpopular opinion. I'm sorry. I know it's an unpopular opinion, but why are we addressing internet trolls in the middle of the race? At a point in time when the race is nearing its conclusion. Why are we worried about these people? Why are we taking time to dunk on our own audience? I don't get it. And I get that the trolls can be really annoying. Everybody that works in NASCAR knows how bad some of the comment sections can be and how annoying some people can be. But I feel like rule number 1 that everybody knows is don't feed the trolls. And you're just going to get more people angry, and frankly, you're going to get more people to turn off the race if you keep doing this snarky stuff. And no offense to Mike Joy, obviously he's one of the best broadcasters of all time. This isn't saying that he's doing a bad job. I just question why do this? Why make yourself a part of the storyline of the weekend? Why address these people? What are we doing? What are we doing? I just don't get the point of doing something like that. And it's very obvious that everybody's upset with the ads that are on Fox right now. And I don't think it's that much different from previous seasons, but when you have a product like Formula One that runs commercial free and you have an audience that maybe some of your audience is looking at this Formula One product and being like, why can't we have the ad-free broadcasts in NASCAR? And before you comment, I know there's several reasons why that can't be a thing in NASCAR right now. But I don't think insulting the audience that's curious about that is the best way to go about it. And I'm pretty sure it's not going to get you more viewers. I don't know. Some people were hyping up Mike Joy on Twitter, and I know Nick Broomberg, everybody's favorite Twitter analyst, had criticized him. And again, as most times, Nick got kind of flamed on Twitter for it. But I kind of side with Nick on this one, where it's just what are we doing? It's stupid. It's if you're watching with somebody for a first time watching that race, and this is their first time watching a NASCAR Cup Series race, if you're a first time viewer, you're probably thinking to yourself, did this announcer just insult the audience? Is he going after a portion of the audience? What? You're not seeing Joe Buck, Tony Romo, any of the guys in the NBA, Major League Baseball, going after their own audience. I mean, the commercial during action is kind of a subjective thing to NASCAR. But, I don't know. I feel like I've spent enough time talking about this. It's a dumb topic, but I just don't like the fact that we even have to talk about this. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Getting back into racing here, let's talk about the NASCAR Xfinity Series where Sammy Smith grabbed his first win of the season on Saturday. To be completely frank, I only caught the last stage of this race, but I feel like that was all I needed to catch because Sammy Smith, my goodness, he looked like a legit dude on Saturday. And I feel like if you're looking at it from an organizational standpoint, he kind of came in and filled that Ty Gibbs role from last season where you have this prospect that moved up from the ARCA series and is now in a elite Joe Gibbs Racing ride. And you could say what you want about if he only earned this ride because of money. It's clear as day Sammy Smith has talent. We've seen guys, and no offense to him, but we've seen guys like Brandon Jones be in that 19 car because they have sponsorship, and we haven't really seen that type of performance where they were able to go out and hold off Kyle Busch. He held off Kyle Busch. He held off John Hunter Nemechek. He outright won that race, no questions. He was the best car. He was the best driver in that race. And I know this isn't a long-form explanation of it, but that's the story of that race in the Xfinity Series, and I would not be surprised if we see more of those wins from Sammy Smith moving forward as we get into the season. And finally, let's wrap up with the ARCA Menard Series that ran on Friday night. How about 15-year-old Tyler Reif? He doesn't drive for Veterini Motorsports. He doesn't drive for Joe Gibbs Racing. This kid survived the absolute chaos of this race to go on, grab his first win, and get this, his first ARCA Menard Series start. This was a combination race with the ARCA Menard Series West. I believe this was his third ARCA Menard Series West start. But how about that, man? I mean, it was a very chaotic race where all the Veterini cars, I think, ended up in the garage. William Salowich, who is making his debut with Joe Gibbs Racing in the ARCA Menard Series, he looked like the dominant car. He looked very, very good, but he kind of had those rookie-like mistakes where I think he spun out once, and then there's something else happened. I think he spun out twice actually to kind of get himself back in the back of the field. My apologies if I got that wrong, but yeah, when you have all that happen, yeah, I think both of the Rev Racing cars also got into accidents. Suddenly, you get a guy like Tyler Reef in victory lane, a 15-year-old. So congratulations to him. And one other person I want to shout out from this race was Frankie Muniz. Frankie Muniz has looked pretty good in his first couple of starts. This is the first time. And this is the thing. Frank Muniz, he's driving a Rhett Jones racing car, which, as somebody that follows ARCA, I would say is a C-level car. I would say Gibbs and Venturini are A. DGR, when they were in the series, that was more your B-level team. And then C-level being Rhett Jones Racing. I think they have potential, but I don't think they're going to go out and have race-winning speed any weekend. Frankie's came in and been in the top 10, which I know, say what you will about the Arkham Nard Series top 10, but like he drove in the top 10. He recovered after spinning early on Friday, and he ended up finishing 6th. And guess what? Right now, as it stands, and granted, this is in large part due to the fact that we had a lot of casualties in the Daytona and the Phoenix race for the Arkham Nard Series. He's second in points right now. Like, what a great start for Frankie Muniz right now, and it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of his season fares moving forward. Hey everybody, that's all we have for this week. I hope you liked this video. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe here on YouTube. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Black Cat Sports. And yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your week, and we will see you soon. We'll be talking about Atlanta. Maybe we'll have another video before then. We'll see. But yeah, you guys have a great rest of your week.